radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah. How you doing? Today's Tuesday, July 24th, 2018. 206 days into the new year, just 159 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? It's all good. Tuesday nights. And tonight it's rock and roll and UFOs because we have a special guest with us, Curtis Don Vito. Can you believe it? Rock star and frontman for the band SNEW. He is here. We're going to talk about rock and roll and his life of contact. That's right. That's right. More on that in just a bit. Tomorrow night, I can't believe it. Curtis Don Vito is here. You know what? I might even tell the kombucha story. Yeah, with Curtis. Don't ask. Don't ask. I'm a little embarrassed about it now, but tomorrow night we have Billy Carson with us, and he just got back from a research trip into Central and South America. And what did he find out? What did he discover? We're going to discuss all of that tomorrow night with Billy Carson. I love it when Billy is on the show. He is so talented, and he's got his fingers in a lot of pies. He's doing a lot of different things out there. And not only is it forbidden knowledge and what he does at On Stellar and the research, but he's got his music, his sports life and basketball and rocket engines. I mean, he's doing a lot of stuff. And he's just great. So tomorrow night, Billy Carson will be with us. Thursday is another Fader night with John Rappaport. What a great last name, huh? Rappaport. Yep, he's going to be with us with his No More Fake Newsroom Live, followed by Open Lines all night long. Okay. On Stellar. Unbelievable what is going on over there. I just want to thank everybody that is making that community exactly what it needs to be. On Stellar, onstellar.com. And when you get over there, register, use my promo code, referral code, Jimmy. That part is all easy. But get over there, get posting, make some friends. You can use it just like any other social media site, if that's what you so desire. But you can also write articles. You can create. There's a great editor there, text editor. It's amazing, actually. And you can create groups and company pages and schedule events. You can do everything there that you can anywhere else, except it's for our community. And we are getting ready to launch the blockchain. The beta testing, most of the bugs are worked out. Well, there will always be bugs, but it's nice and solid. It is amazing. And you get the night watch, day watch version, too, as well. I need to write another article about that and let everybody know. I haven't been back to the black version of the site since we launched the day watch, right? So, I mean, what other sites do that for you? It's all there on stellar.com. And then get your profile picture up. And when you do that, then send me a friend request. Okay? There you go. I respond to all messages. I do everything. And go check it out on stellar.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Facebook is still chugging along. I don't know when we're going to close it down, but it's like this. This week, my Facebook time, 3 minutes. I'm going to go 3. I'm going to go 3 minutes. Maybe because I was chatting, I was messaging with an old friend of mine back in Indianapolis, and I don't know if he's listening right now, but he was just telling me how much he loved, Fox News, right? And I just went off, and not about Fox, just about news in general. Dude, what are you doing watching the news? And he wanted to ask me about Nick Pope, right? I was like, how do you even know this stuff? He was, man, I saw him on Fox. What? And so anyway, so that was the bulk of my Facebook time, was just yelling at my friend. And I don't yell, but I just couldn't believe, but it all makes sense in the end, right? What can you do? But that was my Facebook time. I didn't read anything that anybody posted. I didn't go through any news feeds, which I can't do anymore on Facebook. I just can't do it. I can't look at the ads. I can't look at the mind control. All of it is just so structured, right? It's crazy. I mean, that's all it is now. It's exactly what it is. So I had to just yell at my friend about it. And then I got out. And that was my Facebook week. That's it. Everything else that we do over at Facebook, I don't want to bum you out. I don't want you, if you hang out on Facebook and stuff, the stuff you see from us, it's automatic. Those are automatic posts that we generate through our website and a couple of other places that are done. Man, my ear's itching. Did I just do that on camera? Did I stick my finger in my ear on camera? Yeah, that's why I don't like a camera in here, because I can't even scratch my ear underneath my. You guys will post it. Did you post that? Let me jump over to Twitter to see if it's there. Oh man. Anyway, enough about Facebook. I just don't even care. Whatever. All right. And YouTube, you can go and subscribe to that channel too as well. You can go do whatever you want over at jimmychurchradio.com. You can also email me, jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. On Twitter, hashtag F2B is the sandbox. You can hang out with us there. We have 2 chat rooms, one over at Spreaker and one over at KGRA The Planet. I was jumping around today. I was going and looking at passwords and changing passwords. And yeah, I know, Alex, you're right about that. I thought about that. And if I did do that, I can't say it on the air. I just couldn't do it. But yeah, all that stuff that's not part of my life anymore. I'm in a cage, and I'm here for your entertainment. You guys walk by, don't feed the animals. You walk by and you look at my natural habitat, and everything that I do is right there. So it's a weird feeling. Look, people talk about how do I want to put this into words? People talk about putting tape on which I do. I've got tape on all the cameras here, except for the one that's live. But as far as laptops or anything that's strange or funky, smart TV, right? All of that stuff has got tape over it. I just don't trust it. And why don't you like it? Because you don't want people watching you, right? Well, I do every single day for 3 hours. I have a camera staring at me. Think about that. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. I was talking to Rita about it. She goes, well, so what? Deal with it. It's your job. I can't argue with that. Okay. So, and also, really quick before I get to the breaking news, and there's a lot of it, our automated system of shipping now, all automated, incredible. Oh, what a relief on that. And so if you have stuff that you've ordered or whatever, you should have gotten an automatic email from us. Can we feed the animals as we walk by, Jimmy? No. Unless it's an In-N-Out burger with a chilled shot of Grey Goose. That's right. If you can do that, you can feed the animals. But our automated system, it's just incredible. It has really, really put everybody here into a good mood. Let me get to the breaking news. Today, the Israeli military shot down a Syrian fighter jet after it entered Israeli airspace. A pair of, and that, you know, the part of that just freaks me out. Do you remember, and I don't do this stuff ever on this show, but do you remember growing up, all of the stories about the second coming, the fake Messiah that's going to rule the world and start World War III out of the Middle East, and we wouldn't be able to stop it once it starts, and there was always some kind of version of that story, and it was always going on. You know, you heard different versions of it, and we laughed about it. You know, there are those out there that, you know, take that stuff really serious. I don't want to offend them, but we laughed about it. And I've thought over the years, every time we elect a new president or, you know, some other world leader, I always kind of look at him and go, could that be the guy? Could that be him? Could that be him? You know, went through that. I went through it with Reagan, went through it with Clinton, went through it with Bush. You know, we just did. Went through, Obama. Went through all of it, right? And here we are today with what's going on. And then I just kind of put it in perspective. It's always jumping off in the Middle East. It's always jumping off. You know, if you go back, if you want World War III to start in the Middle East, well, we did crank 500,000 troops into, and if you think about that, Desert Storm 1, right? 500,000 troops. Think about that. And that was what, 25 years ago. World War III didn't kick off. It hasn't ended. But so today, yeah, they shot down a jet. Syria shot down an Israeli F-16 a few months ago. So it kind of goes both ways. So is it jumping off? I don't know. I just don't think it is. I don't. That tweet over the weekend did freak me out just a little bit, but that's all it was. It was just a little freak out. I think it's all just a bump in the road. Also, breaking news, a pair of rescue robots developed by Russia are going to fly to the International Space Station as soon as next year. Not as cargo, but in the form of robotic crew members. Okay, the androids, named the Final Experimental Demonstration Object Research, or FEDOR, right? FEDOR, would fly to the station on an unmanned Soyuz spacecraft. How crazy is that? That's right. I think these guys have even fired guns before. Nah, I don't want to get into that. But they're going to go up to the International Space Station. Yeah. Officials from the Department of Homeland Security said today that a group of Russian hackers compromised the network of several power companies in the United States, gaining access to electric utilities control rooms in a long-running campaign. Now, the officials said that the breach, which has claimed hundreds of victims, first surfaced in the spring of 2016, continued throughout last year, and could still be running today. That's right. That's my biggest fear right there. That's my biggest fear. I've talked about it so much. That's my biggest fear. You just wake up one day and you got no juice. No electricity. No cell phones. No electricity. No news. No nothing. Man, that's end of days. Last night I said Woody Harrelson was in The Big Lebowski. He was not. First the mind goes, then the body. I'm just letting you know. I've got that going for me. All right. I'm in a great mood. Rock and roll and UFOs and an automated shipping system. It just doesn't get any better than that. Right now, you get a 20% discount on all of the offerings from River Moon Coffee. Just go to their website, click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com, head over there, check it out, order some Fade to Black blend. Get that out of the way first. If you've never ordered Fade to Black blend, you've got to do it. It's the best coffee in the world. The best coffee in the world. Everything that River Moon Coffee offers is great. I'm just letting you know. Fade to Black blend, top of the list. So get that out of the way. Then use the promo code Coffee Break. 2 words, Coffee Break. Coffee Break. Okay? 20% discount on everything across the board. I'm wondering, does that include, the candy? Right? Does it include the chocolate-covered coffee beans? Does it include those salted caramel nuggets of joy? Does it include that? I don't know. Man, that's incredible. All right. Moving on. August 17th through the 19th, I'll be out in Colorado for Dimensions of Disclosure with Corey Good, David Wilcock, Emery Smith, Teresa Yanaris, Gerald O'Donnell, Jordan Sather, and 20 other speakers and presenters. DimensionsofDisclosure.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. We have over 890 archive shows, custom apps, Apple, Android, everything. For just $2 a month, go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the podcast banner, get her done. Help support the show. You can also become a Fade or Not over at our membership section on the site, where you will get the Bunker Cam. You will get an email, a private email to me. You can also get commercial-free downloadable archives. And if you get the Game Changer, you get all of that really cool Fade to Black gear. If you get the Game Changer, you get the Fade to Black hat, embroidered. It just a really nice handmade. I mean, now the company that we use, which is right here in Burbank, family owned. I want everybody to know something. Every Fade to Black t-shirt that you see is hand silk screened. That's right. We don't go to China and have them done for $2 each. We could, right? No. Every single Fade to Black shirt is done hand silk screened by a family right here in Burbank that owns a very nice company. And they've got their own stitching machine. Those Fade to Black hats loaded up on a stitching machine. There is a person standing there hand stitching those, the embroidery. So think about that. This is top quality stuff. And when I say made in America, it's right down the street, man. I go in, I hang out with everybody. We talk about different things, and I'm serious. The owner of the company, I call her mom. I do. It's because I don't know her name, but I call her mom, and I know everybody there. Everybody there. Yeah, it's forced child labor. I get that. They got the whole family in there, and I know everybody, and that's what we do here. Okay, and that includes the forced child labor, and so think about that when you get everything is just done to such high standards. And I went to oh man, I don't want to say who because it was another family member of ours, but I tried the automated system of making shirts. And although, when it's 4-color, and it just doesn't have that same feel. I like those concert and those silk screen shirts from the 70s, man. I just like that look and that feel, the thickness, and you can feel the paint, right? That's what we do. So go right now, become a Fadernaut, order some shirts. You can order the shirts online, and everything is right there. But just remember that it's all done by hand. It's done by a family right here in Burbank. It's absolutely the best quality, period. And I just won't make changes. I can make stuff elsewhere, and I need that quality. So think about that. Become a Fadernaut today in our membership section of the site. All of our sponsors are amazing. They've been with us for such a long time. Life Change Tea, GetTheTea.com, River Moon Coffee, Ancient Life Oil, Sacred Skulls, Numana Food Storage, Bearing Optics. And there's a reason. I should go and make new commercials and stuff. If you've ever wondered why we don't have just a bunch of different commercials running here all the time, we have the same sponsors. I have people coming to us all the time to advertise on the show, and we just tell them no. If you're not going to be with us for the next 10 years, and it's not a product that I can endorse or feel good about and recommend to this audience, then there you go. Scott Richards says, I still have my 76 Thin Lizzy t-shirt. Really? Do you have any joints with that? Did it come with a free lid? 76 Thin Lizzy t-shirt. Oh, man, that is precious. That's cool. Priceless. All right, happy birthday to today. Summer Glau is 37. Summer played River in Firefly and Serenity. And she was also in the 4400. She's in a lot of different things, but it's always Firefly and Serenity. Happy birthday to Summer Glau, 37. Remember Gallagher? Gallagher, the comedian. Do you remember that guy? Probably don't. But today he is 72. And also, we have to just stop and be thankful here for a second. Wonder Woman, Linda Carter, today is 67. Our dead guy's birthday today is Amelia Earhart, 1897 to 1939. Died at the age of 41. More on that in just a bit. Legendary aviation pioneer who earned the U.S. Distinguished Flying Cross for becoming the first woman to fly across the Atlantic Ocean. She also helped to form a group of female pilots known as the 99s. During an attempt to fly around the world back in 1937 in a Lockheed Model 10E Electra, Earhart and navigator Fred Noonan disappeared over the central Pacific Ocean near Howland Island. That was in 1937. I just said she died in 1939, right? Exactly. Amelia was declared dead in absentia on January 5th, 1939, at the age of 41. Where did you find a Gallagher gif? Really? Those exist? On this day in history, OTD 1911, Machu Picchu is discovered by American archaeologist Hiram Bingham. Can you imagine? Just cruising across a mountaintop going, whoa, check this out. Yeah, it was all overgrown at the time. It's all cleaned up now, but he almost didn't know what he found. Fader fact. Here you go. Here's my Fader fact. Alligators will give manatees the right of way if they are swimming near each other. And there's your Fader fact. Seriously, that's a good one right there. All right, I wanted to talk a little bit before I get out of here and get Curtis in here. Rock and roll and UFOs. And I started to think about this today prepping for the show because that's my favorite thing, right? Rock and roll and UFOs. And if I can get both of those in on one show, I win. And if I win, you win. But back in 1995, 96, right in there, when I was working with Rob Halford, I was also reading the book Top Secret, right? So, and in that book, there was a report, a story about this crashed UFO in Cave Creek, Arizona. And Cave Creek, Arizona is right around the corner. So, hold on. Let me do this version of it. So I'm reading about the story, and they're talking about how close it is to Paradise Valley and Camelback Mountain. And so Rob, who lives on Camelback Mountain, I don't want to disclose too much here, but I take the book. I'm at Rob's house in Phoenix, and I've never discussed UFOs with him. And I asked him where, Cave Creek is, and he goes, "Oh man, it's just right up the street. It's right around the corner." I said, "Really? Well, a UFO crashed there." And he goes, "A UFO crash?" I go, "Yeah, man. Hold on a minute." Right out, get the book, and I come back in, and I open it up, and I show him the story, and he reads it. "Really?" I said, "Yeah. Well, let's go by there." And in the book was the two streets, the intersection, because they describe in the book how they removed the flying saucer and then plowed over, graded the field, took the dirt out, and then replaced it with a parking lot. So we went out and went out to go find it. And I didn't think Rob would have an interest in UFOs. He did. And he flipped out that it was so close. And we talked about Roswell. We talked about a couple of other things that were out there at that time in 1995 about UFOs. And I was totally blown away by it. And then you have like Graham Bonnet, who has been on this show. And Graham, who tells the story about him riding his bike out in Malibu and had that famous sighting out there. And he wrote a song about it. And the other paranormal stuff that he talked about on this show. Doug Aldrich, who was on this show, talking about driving between Las Vegas and L.A. every single week when he's out there doing the rock vault and seeing strange lights in the sky out there in the desert that he can't explain. Sammy Hagar with his download experience where he talks about a cable being connected between him and a flying saucer outside of the house, and he received a download. Billy Corgan recently came out and talked about his experiences. And, of course, we have Peter Takrin of Hypocrisy, not only on the show, but I've sat down and talked with him about it. Jennifer Batten, one of the great guitar players on this planet, played for Michael Jackson, was on the show talking about her UFO experiences and how her favorite thing to do is to go to UFO conferences and just hang out. So think about that. And there's so many more stories than just those. But it's rock and roll and UFOs has been my life growing up. It's what I do. Tonight, Curtis Don Vito is here. Not only the front man for the band SNEW, and SNEW is just amazing, but it goes beyond that. Yes, his life of contact. We're going to talk about all of this tonight for the first time in public. But SNEW is about as solid of a band as it gets. Drums, bass, guitar, songwriting, it's all there. It's as good as it gets. And Curtis is one of the smoothest, most awesome singers out there, pure rock and roll. All of that is in front of his life of contact. So enjoy the show tonight. You know that I am. I cannot wait for this. I'm going to get out of here. Curtis Don Vito is our guest. Tonight, it is all rock and roll and UFOs. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Head over, find me on OnStellar, onstellar.com. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Curtis is over at OnStellar. That's right, Curtis Don Vito. Send him a friend request. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be right back. Stay with me.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at getthetea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at getthetea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at getthetea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be, and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Getthetea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the planet.
Win big with KGRA this summer. Tickets and hotel accommodations to the biggest conferences, autographed books and DVDs, chances to win all-inclusive conference cruises, and private dinners with your favorite KGRA hosts. Click the contest tab at KGRAradio.com for your chance to win big this summer. Your contact for the best alternative talk radio on the planet. KGRAradio.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. The segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. Use the promo code FADER, F-A-D-E-R. You will get yourself free shipping. Click on the banners over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Tonight, our guest is Curtis Don Vito, singer, songwriter, artist, and the frontman for SNEW. Yeah, that's right. He's here. But he is a multiple abductee, psychic, clairvoyant. That's right. Curtis has spent his entire life communicating with angels, guides, and spirits from other dimensions. And SNEW itself is one of the great American hard rock bands right here from Los Angeles, California. And they've got a new album that's going to be released. It's called You've Got Some Nerve, this September 17th, 2018. Now, he's got in the band, he's got himself, he's got Andy Lux on lead guitar, Mark Ohrenberger on drums, along with Lenny Spickle on rhythm guitar, one of the most solid rock and roll bands out there. Formed in 2005, SNEW has released 3 albums, numerous singles, and has sustained a steady tour schedule across the U.S. and also major festival appearances. And SNEW maintains an international fan base with critical acclaim. They're getting ready to head over to the U.K. for another tour this December. And they've released 4 singles to date. They've released Highway Star with Alan Holdsworth on lead guitar back in 2009, Thunderdog in 2014, The Juice of Power in 2016. And tonight we're also going to play, we're going to play a bunch of stuff, but the new single, You Are Freaking Me Out, and that was just released, all produced by Bobby Ozinski. And I would like to welcome to Fade to Black for the first time, Curtis Don Vito. Curtis, good evening. How are you, man?
Jimmy. Hey, man. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah, right. and you know what's great is tonight you get the first-time guest disclaimer. So let's get that out of the way, Curtis. It's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. Where the conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, it ends. You ready to go?
I'm, well, let me sit down on the couch here, because
okay.
I gotta pretend you're sitting next to me.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think I've got it. I'm envisioning it.
You know,
all right.
And
you're there.
What's funny is we're both in Burbank, too. Next time I'll bring you in the studio. We'll do it live together. We're just a couple of blocks apart.
It'll be awesome. Yeah,
now,
I know, we're neighbors.
I know, right? Well,
imagine that. It's just like, why didn't we hook up a long time ago?
Well, you know where the parking garage is across the street from Burbank High School?
Yeah.
Okay, we're underneath that 3 floors. Now, what you
really?
Yeah. Now, what you have to do is go find the door and figure out to get past security. But yeah, that's where we're at. So now,
dude, you're right across the street from me.
Yeah, I know. Look at that parking garage. And then let your imagination run wild.
God, I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, and you didn't even know that there was stuff underneath it, and now you're kind of tripping out. So, before we get to that, I want everybody here to listen to your new single. We're going to do that right now, and I want, for the rest of the show, I want everybody to trip on your vocals and how great the band is, because we're going to be talking about some very fun stuff tonight. But they need to have, I know, they need to have a point.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, so here we go. Debuting for the world right now, this is SNEW, You Are Freaking Me Out. Check this out.
You're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. You freak me out. Stop what you're doing. You're freaking me out. You're freaking me out. You freak me out. That's not so stupid. You're freaking me out.
Unbelievable. Okay, so that's the new single from SNEW. And tonight our guest is Curtis Don Vito, the frontman, singer, songwriter for SNEW. Now, Curtis, okay, first off, huge fanboy after listening to that. But what is amazing is that the band is about as solid as it gets. And I was watching some of your live stuff, and it's to be able to have a band like that backing you up as a singer, that's got to just be the best feeling in the world. You know, you've got everything completely dialed and correct.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm proud and I'm honored and I'm thrilled every time I get on stage with these guys and we go in the studio. Yeah, it's just, bands, when they click, and you're like, this is worth its weight in gold,
Yeah, and back off of your phone just a little bit. You're so loud, you're blowing up your phone. You're blowing up your phone. Now this, okay.
Well, you got me pumped up.
I know.
UFOs and rock and roll, are you kidding me?
I know. And there's one other thing that I want to comment on. We'll talk more about the music here in just a bit, but you have a vocal style, when I listen to it, it's like you can do whatever you want. You can go wherever you want to go, and it sounds. But live, you're exactly that too as well. What I'm saying is, you have the freedom to do whatever you want with those pipes, and I as a singer, you have that confidence of just that. You can do whatever you want.
Well, I'm enjoying it.
Okay.
I don't know what you want me to say, or to agree with you.
Well, no. What I mean is,
I have fun. I have a lot of fun.
And you are able to write that way, whatever is going on in your mind as you're writing a song. You know that you have the vocal power to do whatever you want, whatever your imagination is taking you. You can do that.
Well, yeah, I imagine I do have some limitations, but, I'm not an opera singer. So
right.
There are those guys who are just like, God, how do they do that? I'm a rock guy, so,
Right. And now...
look, I am a fan, just like you're a fan, okay? I got into making this music because I wanted to hear more of it.
And is there less of it out there right now? There are so many that will say that, performing live and bands, the band side of things, musicians, it's not like it used to be. I think if you dig and if you go, there is a wonderful, vibrant community out there of live music.
It's as big as it ever was. I don't know if you want to get into this right now.
Sure.
But it's as big as it ever was. It's just not getting covered.
Right. The live festivals.
Given my experience, I'd say it's bigger than it's ever been. It's just we don't have that mainstream pipeline anymore. And I've got my whole theories about that if you want to go there.
Well, everything changes, right? Everything
changes, but some things stay the same. And things get in the way.
Yeah, they do. They definitely do.
This is Fade to Black, so all those fadernauts, I think, know what we're talking about.
Right.
So if you want to get into it, we can get into it, but I know you want to cover other areas.
We've got all night, Curtis.
Let me just say that the way I feel about it, and given what I've seen from within the industry and traveling around and talking to people that know what they're talking about and all of that, what I've put together is that rock and roll there's been a barricade. Because I'll tell you, brother, rock and roll wakes people up like nothing else. And when you go to a rock concert, you go to a metal concert, everybody's together. We're one unit, and nobody's separate. We don't care about your politics. We don't care about your religion. We don't care where you're from. We're there for one thing, and we're united. And there's a system in place that wants to shut that off.
And you write about that. And that's the other thing here. You have had the freedom to express these ideas through SNEW, disguised and wrapped up with a bow of being kick-ass rock and roll, right? Okay, all right. And then you're
seeing things that, God, dude, you and I are so on the same wavelength. Yes, I put all kinds of messages in these songs. And if you get it, you get it. If you don't, it's just kick-ass sex, drugs, and rock and roll. And
right.
If that's where you want to go with it, it does exist on that level. But there's a layer underneath.
The subject of You Are Freaking Me Out, right? And you see the title of the song, and it's like, okay. And it's actually about, this is me. I'm going to ask you what it's about. But I went and I took the lyrics apart, and it's about what I talk about. I'm freaking people out with crazy talk. You know, and whatever it is, you know, I'm talking conspiracy theories or UFOs or fairies, you know, Bigfoot, and somebody that doesn't get what I am saying, they're going to turn to me and go, "Dude, you're freaking me out right now." Right?
That's it.
And that's what this song is about.
That's totally it. And if you follow the song, I go from being the guy who's freaked out to the end where I'm the guy freaking you out, where I'm saying you can't stop me.
Right. Right.
That's the through line of this song. We're freaked out by these people. I used to be one of them. Well, maybe not as much as some other people, because I've had some pretty crazy things happen in my life. But, you know, we're there. You know, the masses who are just like, these guys are crazy. What the hell are they talking about?
Right.
So I go from there to being, no. We got to talk about this. Am I freaking you out? Good.
I'm serious. Your voice is so loud. You're clipping out your phone. You are.
Sorry,
so
man.
just back it off just a little because it sounds perfect. Except for you know how it is, man. When you hit that Neumann U87 a little bit too hard. So yeah, that's what's going on. But now, with you, do you find that? Do you have to separate the rock star image from your life's experiences and the UFO subject? Do you not freak people out? Do you just leave it alone?
Oh, all right. Well, when it comes to the band and the music, no, I've never talked about this stuff that you and I are undoubtedly going to talk about. I've never done this in a public forum.
And what about friends outside of the band? Family.
Very careful about who you bring that up with.
Right. And you have to.
Because I've been in situations where, you know, it starts off, you're a cool guy and we're hanging out and then you get a little more comfortable and you start hinting it around a certain subject matter and then you think, I can talk about it a little bit more. And then they start to get that glazed look in their eye and it's like they kind of... You don't really talk to them anymore.
Right. It takes me back to a couple of stories where, and you and I were talking about this with Graham Bonnet. And Graham, when I don't know if you went back and listened to that interview, but what Graham did on this show, now I've been a Graham Bonnet fan just like everybody else for forever. Going back to that first Rainbow record, still to this day, totally. It's one of the best.
Just one of the biggest gravelly voices, just bold and just I love it.
So he tells the story for the first time on Fade to Black, where he says, he had long hair, and he was walking through his apartment in London. And he sees in this mirror somebody sitting in a rocking chair in his front room. And he turns around and walks out to the front room, and it's James Dean. It's the ghost of James Dean.
I never heard this story.
Right. And now he doesn't want to freak people out. Right? He doesn't want to.
Yeah.
And so, and he has this conversation with James Dean, and the next day he goes to the barber shop, gets his hair cut off, and he wanted to have the James Dean image, right? And so
he's always had that. Yeah,
he's always
totally
had
James Dean. Yeah.
Well, that's where it came from. The ghost of James Dean
it all
told
makes
him
sense
to do
now.
it. Right.
He was always kind of like, Graham, he's got this James Dean look, but he's just like a hard rock vocalist. And it's like, well, I guess it's this thing that works. But
right.
There's a reason for it.
There's a reason for it. And but
I love that.
He didn't want to freak people out. And
no.
and I totally get that. I really do. I understand that. But you have definitely really been involved with this. And I want to go back before we hit the break. I'm going to set the stage for this conversation when we come back. You were one of the first to sit down with Yvonne Smith and her group. Now, Yvonne is a friend. She's been on the show many times, and everybody in this community knows who she is and what she is about. But Curtis Don Vito was there from the beginning. How did you find Yvonne Smith?
How do I set this up? I mean, there's a lot of backstory. Let's just say, at a moment in time when a lot of things became extremely clear to me, I saw a book called Secret Life by David Jacobs. I read that book, and it was like, this is me. So I contacted David, and, he said, contact Yvonne. She's out in your area. Go see Yvonne.
What year was this?
This was early 90s.
Early 90s. So you were singing, right?
Yeah.
You're doing all of that, but you've got this other side that you're looking for answers. And I totally get, going and finding a book by David Jacobs makes a lot of sense. But then you find Yvonne Smith. At that time, did you think that there weren't many others out there having these experiences?
Well, there were stories, obviously, of course, the Roswell thing, and there were a few stories coming out, but that was like the beginning of these researchers and these hypnotherapists coming out and saying, we're talking to people and we think this is real. Right? It was the early 90s when all that stuff really started to just surface.
Right.
And I don't remember where I was, but, I'd been having all these revelations and memories that had been suppressed coming back. And I saw that book somewhere, wherever it was, some store, bookstore I was in, or wherever, it was staring me in the face.
Right.
I think it had just come out. And I was like, I need to buy this book. And I took it home and I read it. And it was just like, I'm one of these people.
Now, did you do, we've got about 2 minutes here, Curtis. Did you go straight, did you do any regression with Yvonne, or did you go and sit down with her group?
Oh, yeah, there was a whole process. Yvonne doesn't just admit you into the group, because you say you're one of them. There was a whole vetting process, series of regression therapies and psych evaluations. I mean, she really wanted to make sure you were the real deal and not somebody with delusions. She put me through the ringer.
And
at the end of it, it was like, you've had these experiences, and we'd like you to join the group.
And there's the other part. You didn't freak her out. So you're able to start talking. Right. You're about, can actually.
This is what she was doing.
Right.
Her and Jesse was there the whole time. I'm sure she must have talked about him.
Right.
Most abducted guy on the planet.
Right.
And during the sessions, I could see them both whispering, we talk about certain things, and they're like, he sees that. Oh, yeah. The wheel around table, and all these different things, and he was just like, yep. And things that weren't really in the public, forum yet.
And that's
so much has come out now, but back then it was like, I'm talking about things, and he's been there, he's seen that. Oh, he knows about this. So it was a different time when you knew things that most people didn't know.
Right.
And it was easier for them to vet people. Now it's just everybody knows everything.
Right. No, that's it. See, that's one of the things that I like to do is I like to study the history of it, and I like to go back and look at old UFO documentaries and paranormal stuff from the 70s and from the 80s. I go back and watch that. There's the innocence of it. Roswell hadn't happened yet, right? I'm talking about older documentaries, and go and see how they speak about Egypt and the pyramids and abductions and the way that they did their research. There was an innocence about it, but today everybody knows everything. This is the information age. You're absolutely right.
I listen to your show.
Right.
There's a lot of things that are by design. The whole Matrix is designed a certain way, and so they come in. The War of the Worlds. That wasn't just some broadcast. That was a test.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's take a break right here, Curtis. Our guest tonight, Curtis Don Vito, front man for the band SNEW. And I'll be right back after this short break. And I've got some more SNEW stuff we're going to play throughout the night. We'll talk about a little music, too, as well. It's Rock and Roll and UFOs tonight on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. I'll be right back after this short break. Stay with me.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out! That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave. Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to jimmychurchradio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And this is Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
Yes.
We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier.
And I'm Ari Gold.
We're the Honey Brothers.
And you're listening to Jimmy Church.
The Revolution.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. It's Rock and Roll and UFOs tonight, and this segment of Fade to Black is proudly brought to you by River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Right now, they've got 20% off on all of their products. Just use the promo code Coffee Break. 2 words, Coffee Break. Click on the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Our guest tonight, Curtis Don Vito, the singer, songwriter, frontman of the band SNEW. And Curtis, when SNEW broke out, we're going to go back to Yvonne Smith in just a second. But when SNEW broke out, there was such a buzz here in Los Angeles. Rock and roll is back, and I went and listened, and I was like, holy crap, this is going on in Los Angeles right now. Yeah. And I was so happy. But this is the thing. When people get the hype going, and you go and listen to it, and it's like, okay, it's cool, but okay, it's not all that. But SNEW was all that and is all that. And I just want to say, man, to put a band together like this and to have that success, that's everybody's dream. But you've done it, and the band is just amazing. And I've been in the background forever, as a fan, and to have you reach out to me like you did was just nuts. But and I want to thank you for that. But let's back up, and I want you to tell everybody my embarrassing kombucha story.
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, fate or not, around the world, I held Jimmy Church's kombucha. and Rita, I don't know if you know this, sweetheart, but I held on to his booch.
Yeah, and so what happened? This is the funny part of the story. We're at Disclosure Fest, and Curtis comes up, and there was a lot of people around us. And I needed, there was a moment I was going to take a picture of David Wilcock. I think it was David, right? And
David, yeah, you were surrounded by people, and they all wanted pictures with you. And then David walked over, and and you're like, "Can you hold this?" And you just hand it to me, and you walk off. You're surrounded by people, and you're taking pictures, and
it was just so
fun. You take a picture with David, and then you're done with him, and David walks over to me, and I talk to him for a couple of minutes, and it was like I'm still holding your booch.
And you walk away.
I held that thing for like 20 minutes, dude.
Yeah, and it was so funny. And you hand it back to me, and you walk away, and there was a lot going on at that moment. And I went, what? That was Kurt. I need to talk to Curtis. And you were just so polite about the whole thing. And but see, I didn't know it was you. You were just somebody standing next to me, and I was just like, dude, hold this. This is so funny.
Yeah, just very casually, like I was your roadie or something.
It was so funny, man. It was so funny.
I didn't mind. It was just like,
it was hilarious, man. And as you were walking away, and then we just got separated. The crowd got in between us. And that was that, but it was just so funny. And
yeah, that was right before the mass meditation thing.
Yes.
So I went over and I sat down cross-legged, and I was ready for that whole experience, which was awesome. Disclosure Fest was really, really cool.
Yeah, it was amazing. And like I said, you're right in the middle of this community. And that's the cool part for me. And now let's back up. Now let's go.
Okay.
There was a reason. There were things going on in your life that led you to Secret Life by David Jacobs. So, what was your first experience? Do you remember it?
Yeah. My whole life up to that point was just a series of paranormal, supernatural events. But, as a kid, I'm growing up with that, and it's all normal to me. I didn't really put it into context that this is unusual, this is strange. I didn't even talk about it. My parents never knew. I didn't talk about anything. For some reason, it was like, like if you're walking down the street, you see a dog or something. You don't run home and go, "Oh, I saw a dog today." You just don't talk about some things because they're normal to you. That's what my life was growing up.
Where'd you grow up?
In Orange County.
Orange County, so Southern California. Okay, so these experiences were happening in Orange County. Normal family. Whenever I think of Orange County, I think of a very certain type of lifestyle that goes on down there. Was that you?
Oh yeah, it's Well, I won't cast any aspersions, but yeah, you know the type.
Yep.
And, I mean, I was very anxious to get out of there. I mean, it was, my childhood was great, but eventually, once I came to rock and roll, I knew I had to move into L.A.
Right.
So,
well,
but my first experience, I was 8 years old. If you want to talk about UFO experiences.
Yeah, what happened? Yeah.
Types of things.
What happened?
There were other stuff that had been happening to me since day one, but as far as that goes, my first real experience that I recall vividly, I was out playing in, there was a field area kind of off to the side of where we lived, which was just a, suburban housing development, right? And there was this big open field, and I'm out there, and I would go out there occasionally, and I see, a couple of little guys off in the distance, and they're not saying anything to me. They're not waving their arms, but they want me to come over, and I knew that. I was like, oh, okay, let's go check out these guys. And I'm walking, and then they're coming a little bit clearer into view, and I'm like, these guys look weird. And I'm walking, and I go, these... In my mind, my 8-year-old mind, I'm like, these aren't people, Of course, now I refer to any sentient life form as a person. I mean, you can't be prejudiced. We're all people, If you're intelligent and you communicate and you're one of us in the universe, we're all people. So, but I was thinking, clearly I recall, these are not people. But I kept going. I walked right up to them. And they wanted me to follow them, and we lived like right at the mouth of the canyon, and so I followed them into there, and behind some trees, and there was the craft.
What happened? What happened next?
And I followed him in. I was just like, all right, I just followed him in there.
And what?
And but from that point. That's the last thing. Everything goes blank after that. All I remember after that is running home.
Wow. Do you remember what it looked like from the outside?
Well, somewhat, except there were lots of trees and shrubs around it, so I didn't get a clear view of the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was kind of a disc shape, a little bit more rounded. From what I could see, it was like a big ball, but maybe more of like a disc shape, and a big open area that we walked into. It's kind of silverish, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I have no recollection. After that, it just goes blank. My memory of it is gone.
Were they dressed?
I remember distinctly running home afterwards.
Were they dressed as humans or kids? Were they disguised? Or
No. Like I said, when I got up to them, I was like, these guys aren't people.
Right.
They looked, they were the Greys.
Right. And
they had that look to them.
You were 8, so were they your height?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, it's just about, sure.
And no...
they weren't the tall ones. They were the little guys. And
right.
About my height, sure. And I wasn't afraid of them. I thought it was a little weird. But something told me to just follow these guys. So I went.
And I'm going to discuss the Yvonne Smith stuff, but we're going to get to that because I'm sure that you discussed all of this with Yvonne and the group. What was your next contact experience after that?
After that, this is where things get spongy, right?
Okay.
Lots of holes in my memory. I mean, like, Corey talks about the blank slating. Yeah, that goes on, man.
Right.
There are great big gaping holes in my memory. I've got lots of vivid memories, but what happens in between that and, this event leads to that one, there's just big gaping holes.
Was it the same group that was coming back and contacting you?
Oh, yeah, I think.
Well, what makes you think?
I'd have to say yeah, except it's not just those two little guys. It was There's a whole network.
Well, tell me about it. Tell me about it. I mean, how did you start? And the reason why I'm asking, Curtis, is it seems like you were selected. I don't want to ask leading questions here, but you have a life of contact that was going on, whether it was the same group of ETs or not. The contact was there. So was it because it was recurring,
lifelong, and
right?
Well, I could. You want me to tell you about the first time that I freaked somebody out?
Sure.
Literally right in front of me, somebody you would not expect to freak out.
What happened?
Okay. Leading up to whatever events that we can cover another time, when I first really began to get my memories back, even though it had all been there, it was sort of spongy.
Right.
But certain things happened that just woke me up overnight. Just boom. Flooding memories, flooding, day after day. And I'm getting all the stuff back. So I knew a woman who was a regression therapist and a very gifted healer. She ran a healing clinic where she healed cancer patients on a regular basis. And amazing woman and her whole thing. I wish they still existed. But anyway, so I knew I needed to talk to somebody. So I contacted her, and she said, sure, So we get in there, and so we're doing this regression therapy, and the focus was to remember all the events starting from 8 years old, when what I just told you about. And we don't go there. I'm under hypnosis, which isn't like what you see in the movies. You're fully lucid the whole time. You're just sort of relaxed and engaging with your memories. You're not like in this trance where somebody can, bark like a dog. It doesn't work like that.
Right.
At least not with me. You're fully lucid. You know what's going on, but you're in this sort of alternate consciousness where it's easy to access things. Okay, so we didn't go to that spot when I was 8 years old. We went someplace else entirely. And I don't know how much of the story I want to go into right now. We got a lot of stuff to cover. But let's just say from there, it then went into sort of a channeling, where this group of individuals was talking through me, answering her questions. And I'm in the middle going, you got to be kidding me. And then they're like, say this. And I'm like, really? You guys mess with me? What's going on? Is this my imagination? No. Answer this. And it was trippy. I was freaking myself out because of what was happening. I'm in the middle of this. I'm the mediator between two parties. And she's asking questions like, okay, so why him? And dude, I did not want to say what they told me. I was like, I don't want to say this. Come on, that's corny. That's hokey. They said, he's the one. And I'm like, no. And this woman, she said, oh, what were they saying? I said, I don't want to say this because it just sounds ridiculous. Tell me what they say. Well, they said he's the one. And I'm like, no way. Dude, everybody listening to this right now thinks I'm on some sort of ego trip. That's why I can't say this.
Right.
He's the one. What, are you kidding me? Is this some sort of, mind job on me? Oh, well, so I think I'm important or something? But that's what they said. And then they were like, she's okay, so by him. Why? Because he agreed. And I was tripping out on that. He agreed. And she asked more questions along that line. He promised.
Okay, you know what, Curtis? Okay, there's a problem with the phone, but I'm hoping it'll come back. If it doesn't, we'll reset it. But what you're saying here is that you're lucid, you know what's going on, but now you are being
fighting it. I don't want to say that. It sounds ridiculous to me.
Right, and
he's the one. Oh, he agreed, he promised.
And you were being told what to say.
Yeah, it's like, they can't speak aloud, so they got to tell me, and then I say it to her.
And this had never happened to you before. Were you able to control it? In that, could you say no?
What do you mean? Could I say no and not respond?
Right.
Oh, absolutely. I fought it. There was these long pauses, and this woman was like, what's going on? Is it just...
So you were able...
And I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to say this.
Right.
It sounds ridiculous.
You were able to edit, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Right.
But they insisted. Right. Say this, And I'm like, all right.
Okay, and so...
And then the whole part of totally freaking somebody out, this woman who was steeped in spirituality and healing and regression therapy, she's all after this, she didn't see me anymore. She had...
Oh, okay.
Call me on, she doesn't want to see you anymore.
Okay, Curtis, I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to reset the phone line. We lost that entire piece. So I'm just going to reset it. He'll be here in just a second. And, okay, Curtis.
Yeah.
Okay, now, see.
Better?
Yeah, it's better.
Okay.
So you started to freak her out. What happened?
Well, she didn't want to see me anymore. She couldn't even tell me face to face. She had a friend of mine call me and say, yeah, she doesn't want to see you anymore. You totally freaked her out, and she apologizes, but she does want to see you.
Somebody that is into all of these subjects, it was too much for her. What else did you say? Did it go beyond you are the one? Was there something else that you said to her as well?
Yeah.
Well, what'd you say?
Look, I don't remember everything, because even though you're lucid, you're still sort of in a haze, and I don't recall every, word of dialogue.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
And this was a long time ago, so, certain things I still remember vividly, but other things was like, God, I wish I would have recorded that or something, But yeah, there was a lead up to that, instead of going back to when I was 8 years old and having my first encounter, I was like, dude, all right, this is my coming out of a spaceship party, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I saw the tall gray types, and for some reason I was like seeing through the eyes of one of them, and we were loading things into this ship, and I knew what was in there, and I didn't like it, and another one came up to me and says, but this is for a good cause, you're on the right side of this. And I'm like, no, I don't dig this at all. And then they said, all right, get in the ship, we're basically going somewhere. They didn't use language, it was all telepathic, but that was the gist of it. And we go to another planet, and there's like all these little beings that to me look like Porky Pig, and they're just milling about everywhere, and all of them are sort of like mindless drones, but they're in this big factory type setting, and they're all just intent on doing their job. And I'm like, and they're like, see, this is why, and this just only makes it worse. I'm not digging this at all. And then I sort of come out of it, and now these beings are talking to me. That whole thing just freaked the hell out of this woman, and she didn't want to deal with me.
And that part of it where she's a healer, this is what she does, and she gets hit with this. Was there something else to was there a personal relationship there too? I mean, but
no.
Okay,
no.
so
I'd been to her healing clinic a number of times. Okay, so
right.
we knew each other through that, but it was not an interpersonal thing.
Have you been in touch with her since?
No, it was years later, maybe 10 years later, she apologized and said, I'm sorry I had to, cut you off like that. I really feel bad about it. I hope you understand. I said, no, it's okay. I understand. This was the early 90s when all that stuff really hadn't come out like it is now.
Right. And
it was just too much for her.
Yeah, and see, this is the thing. She's supposed to be helping you. You're asking for help. You think you're getting the help. All of this stuff is going on with you. She does that. Certainly, it didn't help your situation. How did you deal with it?
Well, that whole "he's the one" thing really tripped me out. I mean, I still don't want to accept that as any sort of viable answer. Look, I've known my entire life that a change was coming on this planet, and we're in that period now. I've been waiting for this year my entire life. Okay, this is the year of the beginning of change. I've known about this, and I knew somehow I was going to be involved at some level, maybe a messenger of sorts or something. So, but it was like, you guys are feeding my ego. This is, I don't want to accept, he's the one. What kind of bullshit is that?
Right.
This is before The Matrix came out and that sort of thing. So, but I still took it like that. It was like, no, you guys are just, you're up to something. This never sat right with me.
This is what I want to do. We got to take a break right here. So I want to play The Juice of Power. And by the way, the live version of this, it's probably better than the studio version, as great as it is. Yeah, it's pretty good. But this is the single, The Juice of Power. Everybody, listen to these words. It's a very powerful song. We'll be right back after this short break. Yeah, that is SNEW, the Juice of Power. Our guest tonight, Don Vito, Curtis Don Vito, and I'm going to take a quick break right here. That is just amazing. I know everybody was just watching me headbang on the video, but you know what? That's what I do here. This is Fade to Black. Curtis, you ready to pick this up when we come back?
You got it.
Man. Curtis Don Vito, SNEW. It's rock and roll and UFOs tonight on Fade to Black. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Tappy.
Do you worry a lot? Whether you're a college student, busy professional, parent, or grandparent, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in 1 to 2 weeks. Call 1-800-758-8746 or calmandclever.com.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back. Fade to Black. It's rock and roll and UFOs tonight. Our guest, Curtis Don Vito, frontman for the band SNEW. Amazing track we just played. I'm serious. The Juice of Power. And Curtis, you know, I have had the honor and the privilege to work and become friends with, you know, some of the best out there. You know, Ronnie James Dio and Halford and Kevin DeBro and Graham Bonnet. And there's a long list of friends there. And rock and roll is part of my life. And whenever I, you know, talk to a singer, I will always ask the same question. I want to do this here with you now. When did you find out you had those kind of pipes? How old were you?
I was actually fresh out of high school.
And
I had no idea that I was ever going to go into music because as a kid I was an artist. I used to draw a lot and stuff, and I was kind of known at my school and locally, for being like this gifted young artist and all this stuff. And I thought that was my lot in life. But one day, I was a huge rock fan. Went to every concert, bought every record, but it was just, a fantasy. But a friend of mine managed his brother's band, and he said that they're looking for a new singer. And just for whatever, we were partying, and I was like, let me try out. As soon as I said it, I was like, God, did I just say that?
Right.
And so he set up an audition for me. Of course, I didn't get it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But he's all, but you've got something. You need, to stick with this. And all of a sudden, I'm getting phone calls from bands. And I'm like, yeah, we're looking for a singer. And I'm like, really? How'd you get this number? And so I call my friend. He's like, yeah, I put an ad for you in the recycler. He said, you need to stick with it. You've got something. You're really green right now, but you need to stick with it. And so I'm going on auditions, and and I get with another band who, I'm still really green. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. And the bass player says, either it's him or me. This guy sucks. And the guitar player tells me, he says, but you've got something. You need to stick with this. And eventually, I found a band, and I started writing music, which at that time all I was thinking was, I'll get with the band and play my favorite song, and it'll be a lot of fun. And these guys are writing their own music. And I was like, wait a minute, I can write music. This huge light bulb went over my head, and that's when I got serious about it, because it was like, the hell with drawing. I'm going to make music. And that was the real start of the whole thing.
Now, when I listen to your style, as soon as I think that I hear influences there, it goes away, and you've got your own identity. But there must have been some influences going on there. I hear things a little bit different. Maybe I'm going to catch you by surprise, and hopefully this is the first time you've ever heard this. But I hear a little Udo in there.
Yeah, I've heard that a couple of times.
And a little Udo. And as soon as I go there, that goes away, and you're back. You've got your own style, which is a hard thing to do these days, and avoid those labels. But you were able to develop your own thing. How does that happen?
Because I never wanted to sound like anybody else. I mean, I knew who I liked, and when I began figuring out how to really sing,
right?
I would listen to all my favorite guys. Guys who I loved. Although, honestly, in the very beginning, I didn't care about vocals. I loved the guitar. I was a huge guitar fanatic. That's all I cared about. But for some reason, I was like, but if I'm going to be in a band, I want to be the singer. I don't have to lug around a guitar. But in my earliest days, all I was trying to do was cop guitar licks with my voice.
And which takes me to my next question. One of the most difficult things for me, any musician, is a sense of melody. And now there's that part of it, but then there's developing a sense of melody that other people enjoy. That's the hard thing. You may think it's cool, but you have the ability for a sense of melody. Where does was there a music background? Were you listening to things as a kid? Where does this tremendous sense of melody come from?
My parents were jazz musicians, and there was always Wes Montgomery and Billie Holiday and Tony Bennett, all that stuff constantly around me, And in fact, my parents were touring musicians when I was born, and at some point, as soon as I dropped and they were able to get me and my mom back out on the road, they were like opening for Tony Bennett, and Tony Bennett picked me up as a little baby. They would tell me this story. So I don't know, it was infused in me.
I want to go back to the lyrics and the idea behind The Juice of Power. When you listen to that, that's exactly what's going on. And of course, you have this SNEW world order too as well. But the words and the ideas behind the Juice of Power, on the surface, great rock and roll song, power anthem. It's got all the things that you need for that kind of stuff. But it's a song about influence from the man. Tell us about that.
Well, it's about this grid that we live in and seeing beyond it, and the power that they wield, but it's really our power, and they keep it from us. And it's that juice that is in you, and I want that to come out. Quit deceiving me. You don't have the power. We've got the power.
Right. It's a very, very, well, I was going to say powerful song. That would be incorrect, but it's strong. And like I said, it's just hidden behind great rock and roll. And then you go and you really listen to it. And yeah, if you want to get the drugs and the sex part out of it and party out of it, well, that's there. But there is an insane message in the song itself. Now, let's go back. And now, the reason why I bring all of this up is because you are going through a life of contact and communication. And did some of that part about the grid that we live on and the influences that are driving our society, was this part of the contact? Was this part of the message that you were getting?
From those space brothers?
You tell me.
No. I mean, if there's a connection there, I'm totally unaware of it. Those guys just would piss me off all the time. I was like, not again. Oh, my God. I remember one time walking in, I was still living at my parents' house, and I'm walking in my room, and there's one of them standing there, one of those great types. And I'm like, oh, you just get the hell out of here. I was pissed, right? And I'm like, I'm yelling at him, and I'm like, I know how this works. I'm not going to look in your eyes, because that's how it works. You look in their eyes, and boom, they got you.
How old were you?
And I'm not looking in your eyes. I know you sneaky bastard. You just get the hell out of here. I'm trying to keep it clean, but I was yelling at this dude. And I'm not going to look in your eyes. And I'm looking away, and I'm looking away. And somehow, I really feel that he was working on my emotions to get me riled up. Because at some point, I looked him in the eyes, and then boom, we were gone.
How old were you during this?
Oh, I don't know. I was in my early 20s at that point.
Really? Okay, so 8 years old, now early 20s, still living at your parents' house. You're an adult at this point. You're grown up.
Well, yeah.
And you walk in, and there's a gray standing in your bedroom. And I find that interesting, where you now are not intimidated, right?
No.
You just told them to split.
The strange thing with all these experiences I've had is I was never afraid being in their presence, sensing that they were coming for me, and I always knew. Yeah, I would lie in bed, wake up all night in a cold sweat. It's like, they're coming. I know they're coming. Oh, shit.
Right.
And, but being in their presence, no fear. I was usually just upset, pissed off, annoyed. I remember one time I was actually in the presence of the mantis beings.
Before we get to mantis, you said that you couldn't, that once you look in their eyes, they've got you. What did you mean by that?
They've got some sort of, it's called a frequency that they emit. As soon as you look in their eyes, they got a hold of you. You're like now immobile, and they're taking you off. That's how it works. Anybody out there who you might want to remember this. Don't look in their eyes.
And what part of it, when this was happening, Curtis, did you ever question yourself that this wasn't real?
Never. It was all
yeah. And the the other part, not being able to talk to your family or your friends about this, and I totally understand that, and I think most people would. You are walking around with this bottled up for how many years? So from 8 until
30.
30. 22 years. That's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
Well, you know what? The weird thing about it is, no, it wasn't. I just didn't have a proclivity to speak about it. It was like, just didn't enter my brain. Like, oh, you need to talk about this. It just didn't.
So you move out of Orange County. Did you move to Burbank? Where did you go?
Well, I moved to North Hollywood and then to Burbank.
Okay.
So I've been here a long time.
Yeah, okay. Did the contact follow you?
No. This is a part of the story that I don't know, we should probably just deal with another time. What led to my, recovering all my memories and really, it not being so spongy anymore and all that. What was your question?
Well, so all of this stayed in Orange County?
God, did it? Pretty much.
Okay, so
pretty much. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why it stopped. If it indeed stopped, unless they're just blocking any sort of conscious memory,
right?
Since I was 30, but yeah, there was something that took place that just ended it.
Well, what happened?
I was diagnosed with a thing in my head. Now, just saying that makes me sound like I'm crazy and delusional. He was like, oh, he's got a thing in his head. No, they called it an acoustic neuroma, which is like this mass that wasn't cancer or a tumor. And I said, well, what is it? And said, well, we don't know what it is. But we got to take it out or it's going to eventually kill you. So they had to actually open up my head and go in behind the inner ear and remove this like gooey mass of stuff, which I kind of think was probably an implant.
Right.
Why?
No, no, I didn't say why, but that would be a good question to ask. I'm sitting here imagining what was going on. Which ear was it behind, your right or your left?
My left.
Your left. And what kind of changes did you go through once they removed it? I mean, I'm talking about balance, talk, hearing, vision.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, they said we got to go in, but here's the thing: we've got to drill through that part of your ear, behind the ear, not in my ear hole, but right behind it. And what that's going to do is it's going to make you deaf in your left ear. I'm like, no, get that. What's that going to do to my music career? No, so I spent an entire year looking for alternatives, and I went on a major spiritual journey.
Holy crap.
I tried everything on the face of the planet, from, alternative medicine to, psychic healers to crystals to going and, getting like Kundalini activations to, witchcraft. Hell, I even tried that. I was like, well, let's see if they got an answer. I read every book there was on alchemy and you name it, looking for a way to deal with this so that I wouldn't lose my hearing in my left ear. It's like, there's no way, there's got to be some way to do this. And it finally culminated in me going to that crystal healing clinic where they actually did cure cancer. I've seen it. And after a few weeks of dealing with them, the woman, the one I told you about who got all freaked out, she said, we can't take this out of your head. If it were cancer, you'd be cured by now. But that's not what this is. And we recommend that you go for the surgery.
And you did.
And I did.
And do you have
what's
hearing?
What's that going to do to my music and my ability to sing? my ability to walk right, because in doing that, it also removes the balance control center on your left side.
That's my question. Yes.
So I'm looking at maybe spending the rest of my life in a wheelchair, not being able to walk right, being paralyzed, or also going blind. All these things that they listed. They said this, there's a potential that this could happen to you.
What happened with your hearing?
I'm permanently deaf and not hear.
You're permanently, and you can sing like a bird.
The one benefit that came out of it was listening in mono. I hear pitch better than ever. When something is off, it's like so obvious to me now. It's like, oh, that note's wrong. And everybody's like going, what do you mean? I say, dude, you got to turn up your guitar. Your E string's a little bit off.
Oh.
Like, really? I don't think so. And then they check it and say, oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, that's one thing I will say. I can say many, but there's one thing that everything is on pitch. Vocals, drums, guitars, everything. That bass player is, you know what I mean? It is all on pitch. And
yeah, I mean, I'm not responsible for it, but yeah, when we're in the studio, I'll be like, hey, I think you need to tune up, or they're hitting a note, and I say, that note is wrong. It doesn't really fit in that chord. What do you mean? It's theoretically correct. I go, yeah, but it's not right.
That's okay.
Hit this one instead, and all right, we'll do it that way.
Now, and so you're singing now, which is, I can't sing. Trust me when I say that I can't sing. And
you could.
No.
That voice is, dude, you got pipes. Come on.
No, you have no idea.
And you sound like pure rock and roll.
I'll tell you what, Curtis, off of the air, I'll sing for you. And I guarantee the next thing out of your mouth is don't ever do that again. Ever. So, but what did that do for you singing on pitch? Did you take it to the next level?
Well, yeah, I mean, it definitely threw things in a whole new perspective for me. I could hear pitch like never before, and I mean, it sucks not being able to put on a pair of headphones and hear in stereo.
Right.
I'll admit that part really sucks.
Right.
But as a musician, as a music maker, there's actually benefit to it. So all right, I'll roll with this. It actually, helps me create music and help me stay on pitch. And
man, I'm blown away.
That part
I'm blown away. I am blown away. I've produced so many I've done so much in my life, and I've never. I just couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine having one ear. And
that's
stereo.
why I freaked out, and I was just like, no. And for an entire year, I was on this quest. And my parents said, you got to get the operation, Bo, please, we beg of you. And I'm like, no. And until finally I came at the end of that year, and, and this woman tells me, I think you got to do this. I was like, all right, I'm ready. Let's go.
Now, wait a minute. So with Bobby Owsinski, right? When he says it's in stereo, you got to take his word for it. Right?
Well, yeah. I'm not the guy to do the mixing, because even though I hear what's going on, I don't hear the stereo field. So, yeah.
Yeah, somebody just tweeted out. Somebody just tweeted out, so Curtis doesn't have to put a finger in his ear for pitch.
Exactly.
That is funny. And now, before we hit the break, we'll come back and pick up where we left off. But you mentioned balance and walking. Obviously,
yeah.
I've seen you on stage. I've watched. You're fine with that. How is your balance and walking? Did that ever affect you?
Well, yeah. I mean, for the first year after this procedure, the whole left side of my face was permanently paralyzed.
Wow.
It was. I couldn't even blink my eye. I had to manually take my finger and close the eyelid.
Wow.
The left side of my mouth didn't work. Because I was talking like Sylvester Stallone.
Oh, I wanted to ask you before we head to the break. My Sylvester Stallone. Did I see Willie Bass in one of your videos?
Yeah. He was the bass player on our third album.
I've known Willie for 30 years, 35 years,
You're
30
kidding.
years. No. Did he ever tell you that he...
Oh, man.
Okay, trip out on this. Did he ever tell you that he toured with Soundgarden?
No.
You don't... Oh,
No.
okay. Oh, he never told you that.
God, why wouldn't you mention that? Jeez.
Because we did...
But Willie knows everybody, and everybody knows Willie, so it doesn't surprise me.
We did that...
Yeah, I've known him forever.
We did that together, Willie and I.
Really?
Yeah, we were...
Wait a minute. You know what I do? No, I do remember him saying something about Soundgarden. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was like early in their career?
Yeah, this is the first album. Yeah, Louder Than Love.
Yeah, he did mention that.
Yeah, we were with the opening band, the Big F, on that tour. And Willie, are you ready for this? He was the bus driver.
Really?
Yep. He was the friggin' bus driver, man, and roadie.
Dude, there's so much about me that you got to fill me in on. I don't know your background, man.
Yeah,
God,
yeah.
You and I got to get together and go to the Rainbow or something and just talk rock and roll.
I'm sitting there, I'm watching one of the videos. I'm like, is that Willie Bass? And I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, he was in the band. He did that tour. We played Rocklahoma with him. He was on that record.
It's unbelievable. He's a pretty good singer too, by the way. He's a great bass player.
Yeah, he's great. Listen to some of the songs on that record, like Pull My Stinger, and you hear like these beautiful harmonies, and that's Willie singing with me.
Wait a minute, that's Willie.
Our voices blend so well together.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, wow, this is awesome.
That's Willie. Okay, that's Willie on Pull My Stinger. All right, let's take a break.
Yeah.
Let's take a break right here. My mind has been blown. I've known him since we were kids, both of us. We go back a long, long, long way. Our guest tonight, Curtis Don Vito. I know, I'm tripping out right now. Tripping out. Front man for the band SNEW. It's rock and roll and UFOs. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us.
Hi, everybody. This is Rob Halford, the Metal God, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Okay, nurse, let's get this man to the ER stat.
Right away, doctor.
We see this every day. Heart attack or angina pain due to blocked and clogged arteries. Chelation can remove obstructions or blockages from arteries and help avoid painful and expensive surgery. Now there's Angioprim. It's a liquid oral chelation product that you take with juice. You start to feel the results fast. Angioprim increases blood flow all over the body, and that means more energy and strength to take on the day with less aches and pains. 60 years of research has gone into chelation, and Angioprim is the result. A safe and easy way to unblock your veins and arteries from buildup that slow circulation.
Paging Dr. Jones. Please report to the emergency room right away.
Log on now for a special radio offer from Angioprim. That's angioprim.com/radio. ANGIOPRIM. Angioprim.com/radio or call 877-882-7221. That's 877-882-7221.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
What can I say about the most popular tea on the internet? And what do customers say about Life Change Tea at GetTheTea.com? A lot. But by federal law, we at GetTheTea.com cannot make claims to how this product can enhance your health. We cannot even post our testimonies without being in compliance. So how do we get past the hump? Try our products at GetTheTea.com and see for yourself. You can send us a testimony, but we just can't post it. Bummer. Our products are GMO-free and organic. We pride ourselves in being the best we can be. and we urge you to take charge of your health. We're 11 years strong, and many of our customers have shared their successes with friends and family. Protect your colon. Log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Getthetea.com.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why fade to black? Because you never got that pony. Damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Curtis Don Vito, frontman for the band SNEW. Amazing conversation. We'll get to that in a second. I do want to remind everybody about our Soul Tech Gathering up at East Eddy Ranch this August 9th through the 12th. Just go to soultechgathering.com. Tickets and information. There are a few tickets left. Everything is right there. Meals, everything that you need. And we're going to have James Gilliland, Jason Quitt, Matthew Ryan, Michaela Sheldon, Teresa Yanaris, Holly Marie, Mary Gabrielle, John Lund, Dana Harvey, Billy Carson, who's going to be with us tomorrow night here on Fade to Black, Laura Cantu, and Christine Contini. We're going to be teaching all weekend long. Just go to soultechgathering.com. I guess we're going to play a card game too as well. I'm going to talk about that tomorrow night, and very cool stuff going down. soultechgathering.com. And back to you, Curtis. And now that I was blown away by the Willie Bass thing, and he's come in and out of my life so many times. It's crazy how synchronicities happen like that. I want to go back to what was removed behind your ear, because I think what you're saying is after that happened, there apparently hasn't been any more contact. The first thing that comes to mind, and I was watching Twitter here, is implant. What did the doctor say about it? And do you think that something was implanted?
Well, being as immediately afterwards, I started getting flooded with memories like crazy. I remember that. Oh my God, yeah. Oh, you just one after another the entire time I was in the hospital, and I'm processing all that at the time, but a little bit later I began to put pieces together about this whole scenario, and let me tell you, the whole experience, being in the hospital, the surgery, the surgeons, was highly suspect to me. Let's put it this way: I became friends with a girl in radiology at the hospital. And I'm getting some workups and going through. She pulls me aside at one point. This is just like a couple of days before the surgery. She says to me, "I don't know who you are, but you've got the finest doctors in the world working on you, like the top men in their field, and we're talking like." There's like 7 or 8, all the way down to the anesthesiologist is the top guy in the world. I'm like, really? Well, it makes me feel good. I'm in good hands, but I've got very basic, insurance. I'm still on my parents' insurance. It was very basic. And I'm over at Hoag Hospital, which is like, if you've been over there, it's over in Newport Beach. This place looks like a resort hotel. It overlooks the ocean. And
I've seen
you know,
it.
I'm like, what am I doing here? And why do I have the finest doctors in the world? Really? She says, yeah. She said that to me. I don't know who you are, but you've got the finest doctors in the world. Right? And so now they tell me, you know, they're going to be videotaping the entire operation, and you know, do you want to see it afterwards? And I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to see that. Let me think about it. You know, so I'm in the hospital recovering in, you know, intensive care for a week. And, you know, and towards the end of that, I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, let me get that tape. I do want to see it. And, well, let me, you know, try and find it. So, you know, the final day of my stay, I said, so where's that tape? Said, you know, we couldn't find it. We think they taped over it. Really? You taped over it? You've got the finest doctors in the world all working on this guy, and you taped over the operation? That was a huge red flag for me. The whole thing was just like, these pieces don't fit together for me, just some guy on his basic parents' insurance. And they've got to take this thing out of your head, and they're flying in doctors from all over the world, and you taped over it. Yeah, right.
Do you think?
And afterwards, they were like, no follow-ups. Just like, yeah, you know, go home. You're good. You know, you'll see the general practitioner one time, and I go in there, and you know, he looks me over. Yeah, you're good. I go, so do you want to see me back again? No, you're fine. You know, maybe in a year you should go and get another MRI done. You might want to think about that, but that's it. Goodbye.
So they fly in the best from around the world. It sounds like they were very interested in what was coming out of your head.
Yeah. You know, I wish I knew Roger Lear at that time. I didn't meet him until I was in, you know, Yvonne's group. You know, at that time it was already too late. I would have definitely called him up, said, Roger, what do you think about this?
Right. And you didn't have the opportunity to ask for whatever they pulled out of your head. You know, today.
No, they were just like, wham bam, okay, you're good, go home, have a nice life.
That was it, and it sounds like they came and they still have it. You know what I mean? Whatever.
You know, that's the only thing I can figure. You know, I could be wrong. I could be way off base on this. I don't know. I've got no evidence, but it sure sounds like it. And all my abductions stopped, and all my memories came back in that very day. As soon as I woke up from that operation, I started remembering things. Hell, I was having dreams from when I was a little kid, and I'd wake up and go, I remember that dream. God, I was a little kid when I had that dream. The next night I have another one. I was just like, why is all this stuff coming back?
The memories, did they include anything about them putting something inside of your head?
No.
Was there okay, what about...
God, I never even thought about that.
Okay, well, tonight after the show, you know. But, you know, I really don't want to make light of this. This is a very serious situation, and you lost the hearing in your ear.
Yeah, but I'm good. I'm not traumatized.
Well...
Hey, humor gets you through everything in life.
Well, that's true.
Don't knock it. You can make fun of anything.
Well, and plus
it helps you. That's how we survive.
Well, and you've got a lot of albums with perfect pitch, so there you got that going.
Hey, you know, I benefit from all this. I mean, whatever my life's journey is, I'm on a roller coaster ride, and you know, I'm happy to, you know, be on this thing.
Were you okay? So before we end up running out of time, I can almost see us going into overtime. But let me get a few things in that we've got to. Let's go circle back here. When you had the operation, had you already spoken to Yvonne Smith?
No. That came after.
That came after the
after
operation.
That,
right?
I'm remembering things from my past.
Right.
And I see the book Secret Life, and then I contact David Jacobs, and then he puts me. That's the timeline.
Okay, I got you. So with these memories, we have the grays. I think you mentioned tall grays too, but you also brought up mantis. I want you to tell me about that experience. How did you encounter the mantis?
I don't remember how I got in, but it was like an office, and there was one sitting behind a desk, and there was a couple standing next to him, and all I could tell you is I just remember getting an attitude off this dude like he's a mafia boss. That's the way I took it. This guy's got this smug attitude. He's like this mafioso. And I'm just sitting there, this guy, I don't know who's this guy think he is. And that was my attitude the whole time. It was just like, this thug.
Really? And when you say office, like...
It was a room that looked kind of like an office, and there was a desk, and he's sitting there, and he's got his two, like bodyguards behind him or something. I just had this whole vibe like this is like a mafia boss. He thinks he runs everything.
Why were you there?
I don't know. See, this is where there are holes in my memory. I cannot tell you how I got into that room. I cannot tell you why I was in that room. But the vivid memory of being there in front of them, that's crystal clear.
Was there any communication?
No, just attitude.
And how long were you there, and how did you leave? Do you remember leaving?
Nope. This is where there are holes in my memory. All these things, began coming back to me and crystal clear, and I get from this situation, and I remember that situation, but I remember, chunks of time, not everything that led up to it and where it went from there, and, all the details. There's a lot of holes, and I'm still hoping I could fill in all of that.
Were you ever in a group of ETs?
Well, yeah.
Well, so what I mean is, you look around and there's a gray and maybe mantis and a tall, maybe Nordic or what have you, but they're all there at the same time, where that was the mantis whose office you were in. That was the gray that was in my bedroom, right? Did anything like that happen?
I wouldn't say that there was like a direct link between, that's that guy and that's that guy. Now they're together. No. I don't remember seeing multiple types of beings in one room, other than maybe hybrids.
And, okay, so this is what I find interesting, because we have all of these interactions with different species, but nothing actually with them all together at the same time. Why were you the one that they were reaching out to?
Yeah, isn't that the question everybody wants to know?
Yeah, that is. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, and nobody gives you a definitive answer because they don't tell you these things. You're there, and they're doing something to you, but what's their motivation? Yeah, they don't discuss that.
What do you think the motivation is?
I've been coming to a lot of conclusions about things over the years, and a lot of things that have come to light is listening to people like Emery Smith and Corey Good, right? And that helps put some pieces together. It's like, maybe there's an agenda here that includes certain people and not other people. And maybe I still don't have it figured out, but, I've heard some things recently, in the past couple of years about how there are certain people who are, like star seeds or whatever, and those are the people who get abducted because they're a part of their lineage genetically or on some other level. And so maybe I'm a part of that. That could be. I mean, that would certainly explain some things.
When you finally got into the group setting with Yvonne, You know what you know. You know about your experiences and your memories, and you're sitting there. You don't really know what to expect, but now you start to hear others speak, and you are connecting the dots with your own experiences. What were some of the things that you heard that you had never heard before from anybody else, where you just sat back and went, okay, all right, this is not my imagination. You know, this is real. I thought it was real, but now I know that these are real experiences. Share some of that with me.
I mean, there's definitely that point where, you know, you're living with it in your own head, and, you know, is this my imagination? And then other people start talking about it, and it's like, yeah, this is definitely not my imagination. So yeah, there was, you know, it wasn't a huge group of people. It was maybe 15 people or so in the group, and I got to say that not all the experiences they had were the same as mine. Some of the things lined up, other things didn't. Like a lot of them would talk about seeing owls, which I don't have any recollection of ever seeing an owl, but you know what, the owl is not an owl, and that seemed to be a common theme.
What was the first thing where what was the aha moment when somebody was talking? Surely you remember that first time where you just went, okay, all right, here we go.
Yeah, being on sort of, you know, an examination table and describing the instruments and the roll-around table that they wheel up to you, and, you know, they're all gathered around, and it's like, oh, yeah, that happened to me. Oh, it happened to you, too. Oh, and you, yeah. That was, you know, the big moment where it was like, yeah, we're all going through this.
We all hear talk about, you know, different instruments and stuff. Do you remember anything specifically?
It's been a long time since I really even thought about that. You know, they're just sort of, you know, like surgical instruments. But you're lying on your back, so you're not like sitting up examining stuff.
Right.
You know, so it's kind of hard to really take a look. You know, it's like they didn't all walk away at some point. Now I can sit up and take a look at my surroundings and see what's here.
Right.
No.
Yeah, we all go through that. I have no idea. I don't even want to look what the dentist is using, right? I just look away.
There you go. That's what it is.
Right.
So, you know, you want detailed descriptions of some of this stuff? I honestly can't give it to you. You know, I have a sense of it, and it was like a whole bunch of instruments it was a wheel-around table. You know, they wheel it over, and you're lying on your back and doing whatever. I don't remember any pain. No pain associated with it.
Do you remember what part?
I remember other instances where they put me in like this tube, and I feel like my whole body's being like injected with like helium or some sort of, and I feel like my body's blowing up, you know, but I look down and I'm not, but it feels like it. It's like I'm expanding, and it's just like, what are you doing to me? You know, it was weird, but it wasn't painful.
Do you remember what part of your body they were interested in? I mean, your head, your chest, your nose, your ears?
No, it was not specific like that.
Were they? Well, I mean, were they interested in your face or your head or your brain? I'm going back to this implant situation.
Yeah. I wish I had a memory about that specifically, but I do not.
Wow. How many times did this experience happen with an operating table or an examination room?
Too many times to count. It was like an ongoing thing, you know, all through my childhood and up into my 20s.
We had last night, Peter Maxwell Slattery was on the show, and one of the points that he brought up, because I've talked to so many experiencers about not only abduction and contact, but I've gotten very specific. And everybody wants to know how you got there. How did you get on the ship? How did you leave your room? There's always these questions. And Peter brought up something very interesting last night where he said, it's done with the mind. It's not necessarily a physical thing, although it can be physical where you're walking and a ship is out there and you walk onto the ship. But sometimes it's not that. It is something that's interdimensional and you just arrive. Is that what was happening with you? Do you remember how you got to these ships or were transported or leaving your house or your room?
Okay, well, in terms of the ones where I specifically knew what was going on and not just, you suddenly you're somewhere and this is like, how did I get here? They come through the wall. What I managed to glean from all of that is they've got some sort of technology where they beam a frequency into a solid object. And from where they are, they step through and then out the solid object like a wall. And that's how that works. So I would see him step out of the wall, but it's just like beaming, it's just using it as an antenna to beam a signal, and they can walk right through. It's brilliant.
And so, do you remember doing that?
Yeah. But not willingly, not like, all right, let's go.
No. I want to talk about
they sort of get you into that sort of trance state where, like I said, you look them in the eye and they sort of got you, and now you're docile and you comply. You just sort of walk through the wall. Next thing you know, your next footstep is on a ship.
What I was referring to is what the feeling of going through the wall. I mean, was there a sensation there, or was it just natural, like just walking?
No, it's just like you take your next step.
Wow. And the time when you were 8 and you walked with the two little guys, and there was the ship. It was just right there, whatever the craft was. That's a physical situation. These other times, like from your house, how did you get onto the ship? Do you remember that?
Well, the times that I do remember, it's like I just said. You step through the wall.
I don't even.
It's a very specific technology. It's just like beaming a radio signal into an antenna. And they use a solid object as the antenna, and now, boom, there you go.
When was the last time? What was the last contact that you had?
It's hard for me to put things in order like that. The last time, I don't know. I know you want a timeline and you want specifics, and
No, I'm asking more, Curtis, about was there a finality to it? Was there because you had the
finality was having that thing taken out of my head, and then it was over.
Right, and so that last communication, whatever it was, and the reasons for it, and which apparently was down in Orange County, and I was wondering if you recall that last time.
Before the operation?
Yeah, the last contact in Orange County.
No, I really couldn't put things in order like that for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And how?
I mean, maybe that time where I said I walked into my room and I saw that guy there. That's probably the last vivid memory that I'm in my 20s and this is happening and I didn't expect it, and I walk in and he's there.
Right.
There was undoubtedly things that happened after that because I was still in my early 20s, maybe 23, and it went on after that. But it's all obfuscated, It's just that blank slating. It's just.
And before we head to the break, you want to do a little overtime with me after the break?
Sure.
Okay. How are you about everything today? Is it just something that happened in your past, or are you affected by it today, and do you think about it every day?
Well, I think about it, but no, I'm more focused on what's actually happening in the world right now. Because, I've had a sense of what we're going through right now. The whole ascension thing.
Right.
Which I just call the shift. Ascension sounds a little religious to me, but it's this shift, this frequency shift going 3D to 4D. I've been waiting for this my whole life. I remember thinking about it when I was 4. And then so many years passing by, not discussing it with anybody, but knowing something was coming. It was going to change the world. It was going to be huge. It was going to be scary, but it was going to be great. Not knowing exactly what it is, but having it develop over time, And I remember the first time I heard David Wilcock talk about those things, back when he was on Coast, going, "Ooh, shit, this guy knows."
Right.
I've never heard anybody else say this. This guy knows. I'm going to keep my eye on this guy. First guy in my life who's ever talked about that.
We're going to pick this up right when we come back. Our guest tonight is Curtis Don Vito, frontman, singer, creator, founding member of the band SNEW. We're going to do all of that when we come back. And also, I'll play one more track right after the break, too, as well. Curtis Don Vito. This is Fade to Black. It's rock and roll and UFOs. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
And you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hey, can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. The holidays are coming. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JamieChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Our guest tonight, Curtis Don Vito, frontman for the band SNEW. And what I wanted to do, Curtis, I want to roll. Yeah. I want to roll. Pull my stinger, okay? And we'll talk about it right after. You ready for that? Let's do it.
Yeah, do it.
Oh man, Curtis. Now I hear Willie bass all over the place, man.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
All those big choruses, the big pull my stinger. I mean, he just rounds out that sound.
Yeah, he's got the pipes and
and the bass playing. I mean,
he's just great. He's just a great
world class bass player. I mean, And I was we had just severed ties with our previous bass player, our original bass player, and we're getting ready to go in the studio, and we had there was a conflict with his work, and he didn't have time, and it's like this isn't going to work anymore. So now what are we going to do? Let me call Willie, see if he's just willing to come in and lay down some tracks, maybe a couple or whatever. He was so into it, he wanted to join the band. And it was just like, I mean, this is a guy he's a front man. He's got his own band. He does his own thing. But he's willing to be the bass player in our band just because he loved it so much.
Yeah, he's rock and roll, man. He's rock and roll to the core. I mean, everything about him, man. He's just so rock and roll. Listening, and so I'm listening to this track, and I'm just thinking about your story with what was removed, behind your ear and how it affected you. And it just doesn't, none of it makes any sense, man. It just, it doesn't. You have a gift.
What do you mean? What part doesn't make any sense?
None of it. None of it makes any sense, man. None of it. And, it's mind blowing, your whole experience. And now, and listening to that, all the sex, drugs, and rock and roll are all there in that song for sure, and in the video. But now let's talk about.
But what's underneath it? You're starting to get a glimpse of that.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I bury these messages disguised as pure rock and roll because that's the best way to get any point across. With this whole ascension thing and raising your frequency and your consciousness. Rock and roll does that better than anything.
It does.
It does. I think you of all people will definitely agree with me that all of these things where, they're playing new age music and they're talking about this. No, man, play some rock and roll.
That's right.
It's the time has come to seriously wake people up. Seriously, nothing's going to do that better than rock and roll. You need to change the soundtrack.
Do you think the feeling that I have and that you have, you've just expressed it, with this transformation that's going on, is the world changing? Our community understands this, but outside of the community, do you think that they are changing and they don't even know it?
Yes. This is why there's all this chaos. Okay? All this is people. They're agitated and they don't know why. The frequency is changing, okay, and so you're feeling it at your base level, and it's just like what's going on, and so people are at odds with each other. We got to get through this. This is one of the symptoms. This is a good thing. Do not see it any other way. Don't argue with people. If they need to argue, let them, because they're going through a frequency shift, and they got to get through this stage.
Oh, just dropped. Hardcore drop right there. Wow, that was bizarre. Okay, I'll get Curtis right back. That was the man interfering with the show. That was weird.
Was that perfectly timed or what?
That was actually pretty cool.
There's some messages that some people don't want out.
Yeah, but that was perfect. And that was a hard drop right there. That was just like click.
Yeah.
And so we have to go to the edge, is what you're saying. We've got to take this.
Yeah. Let it be, man. Let people wake up in their own way, in their own time. And it's like, being vibrated, being shaken violently, and you don't know what's going on. It's just like, people yelling and screaming at each other. That's part of the symptoms of this transformation.
I don't.
And on the other side of the fence, you got this whole awakening community who are way beyond it. We're still heading in that direction. But then you got the others who are, it's time to wake them up. You got to shake them a little bit. So I'm saying we got to change the soundtrack. This whole thing, rock and roll, man, electrified. Let's get them up there in frequency, and let's do it right now.
What do you think is causing the friction on the planet? Because I don't remember, and I was very aware and very awake with my surroundings, but going through the 70s and the 80s and most of the 90s, I look back at those being some pretty wonderful days compared to what we're going through now. It wasn't like what it is today. It's definitely chaos.
We're on that edge. The entire galaxy is changing frequency. We're moving into a part of space that's highly charged. We've never been here before. You know, we're like on the outside of one of those, like we see the Hubble pictures of those gaseous formations, you know, and those nebula, right? Those beautiful colors. We're on the edge of one of those.
It's you know what's really strange? It seems like it's like this, Curtis. I could be at a restaurant or a party or on Facebook or on Twitter. It doesn't matter. And I could literally say something like, man, today I ate the most wonderful fresh orange and it was delicious. And somebody's going to go, what? Dude, you are not my friend. Oranges. Have you lost your mind?
That is it. That is what's happening. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It's like, why is this person so agitated right now? Well, I'm telling you why. The frequency of the planet is changing, and those people who are still way stuck in that three-dimensional form they're being violently shaken, and they don't know where it's coming from. And so they just react.
Don't take it personally, is what you're saying. They don't have control.
See it for what it is, and be glad. I know it's pretty difficult. You know, it makes you angry sometimes, and they're on the left or on the right. It's fine. Let it be. They are going through a shift. Let them have their moment. You know.
It seems like the art of trolling. And I'm not talking about trolling necessarily in social media or on Twitter or Reddit or forums, because that's easy. That's there. But I'm talking about in public. I mean, trolling with words, at people. It's like become this epidemic, and I see it now. I see it everywhere. I see it with the president. I see it with sports figures. I see it with singers. I see it with actors. I see it with my friends. It's just the art of the troll is everywhere now. It's like, let's see if I can push somebody's button. It's like a profession. It's like sport.
Yeah. Well, part of that is deliberate manipulation. I mean, there's a cell phone in everybody's hand. That frequency is going out everywhere now. That's why I refuse to have a cell phone. I can't pick up a cell phone without it, like, practically burning my hand. It's like sticking my hand in front of a leaky microwave oven. I don't own one. I can't pick one up.
How do you what's your advice in dealing with that, with the art of trolling? Do you respond to it?
No, because that's lowering your vibrational frequency and getting caught in that deliberate matrix, and people are waking up from that though. I mean, you see it here and there, and it's gathering, and so we've got our awakening community, and every day there's more people joining us. But everybody else just see it for what it is and let it be. Don't let them punch you in the nose or walk all over you, but just sort of get out. Just you need to. What I do, there's a white light technique where you feel a white light coming in through your head and then down up through your feet, and it meets in your heart and it expands outward. And as long as you're in that place, nobody can touch you.
And you have to avoid the temptation of the response, because that's exactly what they want.
Yeah, and they don't even know that's what they want. They just want it. Or you've got again that control grid thing where they're trying to manipulate you into that. So, this isn't just a pop culture thing or natural evolution for everybody walking around holding a device and looking at a tiny screen 24 hours a day. There's nothing natural about that.
No, and we think that the access to information, okay, I get that.
That's the gotcha. That's what pulls you in and goes, right. This is great.
Right. And then it's the other part for me that you find our next generation is not necessarily making friends face to face. They're making friends and making their social contact through electronics. Yeah. And I'm not so sure if that's a good thing. But this next generation, they don't know any different. It's the way that they were raised.
Yeah, but they're going to wake up out of that. Look, you get two things happening at once. You've got people waking up and changing their vibrational frequency, and we're all becoming more psychically attuned. Okay?
Right.
And that's what the internet represents. It is what we're evolving to, but it's also being used against us in a technological sense. Okay? But it all represents the same thing. We are all coming together as one unit, and we're contacting each other around the world, and we're going to get to a place, in this 4D environment where we're doing that without a device. But see, at the same time, we are in the pre-shift days where we are experiencing that, but it's through technology, but it's all connected. It's all one and the same, but there's that faction that's using it against us, trying to stop it.
What do you think would happen to this planet, to the 3 billion people that are addicted to Facebook, and they woke up tomorrow and Facebook was down, gone, right? Not for a couple of hours, but like forever.
Just gone.
Yeah. I mean, seriously.
Hey, man, you're getting off Facebook. I barely use it anymore, except for, certain people still like to communicate through the chat, and it's easy,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really use it that much anymore. It's been manipulated, and so many people are just going, yeah, Facebook sucks now.
It does.
And that's a part of this shifting, this vibrational, co-creative thing that's going on right now with us. So, you don't get, so caught up in, the news headlines and people trolling, and that's a distraction. See for what it is. People are getting shaken up, and they're shifting over. And this whole shift from 3 to 4D is going to go in waves. There's going to be those of us who get there first, and then there'll be another wave, and then another wave, and then we get the big solar flash or whatever's going to happen, and then now it's everybody.
There's the ability to do all of the communication and go and find that knowledge that you want through OnStellar without having, because you're there, you're at OnStellar. Without advertising.
I was there right away.
Right. No advertising, no distractions, no corporate money, there's no censorship.
I'm loving it. It was like, finally, there's an alternative to Facebook. Hallelujah.
I know, right? And how for you, the experience of cutting the umbilical cord to Facebook and then going back and enjoying the freedom of what the internet actually should be, which is something like OnStellar. It's an amazing experience to go through. And then you realize how polluted Facebook is.
Oh, totally. It's not even a viable resource for, I mostly used it as a place for the band to connect with fans and, DJs around the world and all that sort of thing. I didn't use it as much as a personal thing. Why not? It presented itself as a viable source for that. But now I post things and it'll maybe be seen by 12 people. And then they say, you want to boost your post? Meaning pay us and more people will see it. I'm not falling for that.
Right. What I want to play. I've got time for one more track. What would you like to play?
Well, I don't know what you have.
I've got Thunderdog. I've got We Do What We Want. What's It To You? Kick Me Over.
You pick one.
Release the Beast. Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, there you go. I want time to talk about it afterwards. So let's do this really quick. This is SNEW, everybody. Release the Beast. That is insane. You know what's really great about that video is the lyrics and the way that it's set up, right? And wow, that's just amazing. You know, listen, Curtis, you have a gift from God. Okay, and just thank you for everything that you do.
Yeah, I'll accept that. Yeah.
Man. 1 ear. That's it. I'm going to come up with a nickname. I don't know what it's going to be, but
hey, Brian Wilson's also deaf in one ear.
Yeah,
so
that's
I'm not
right.
the only one.
That's right. I'm deaf in both ears, so go figure. You should come up to ECETI, man. You should come up to ECETI for Soul Tech.
Yeah, I keep hearing you talking about that, and it's just like, that sounds like my kind of place.
Yeah, man, you need to do it. You're in Burbank. You can walk to the airport and just make your way up there. I'll talk to you about that off of the air, and we'll see if just come up there and hang out with all the Fadernauts, and we've got some really cool music and some other things going on there too as well. So I'm just throwing it out there. And
that sounds kick-ass. Hell yeah.
All you got to do is say, Rita, please, can I go to ECETI? Say it right now on the air.
Rita, please, can I go to ECETI?
Curtis, thank you so much, Curtis. And
you're welcome, man.
Just absolutely amazing conversation. And the website for Curtis, everybody, the links are over at jimmychurchradio.com. But it's SNEW.com. All of the information is there. The album is going to be released on September 17th, and then you're going to head over to the UK to Europe for a tour.
Yeah. That's in November.
Unbelievable. You know, you've got like 100,000 new fans tonight, and there's nothing wrong with that.
I'll take them.
Thank you, Curtis. Behave and be well, and I'll shout at you tomorrow.
Okay, you got it.
And you got to call Willie Bass and go, dude, I was on Church's show last night, and we talked about that.
I know.
It's so cool. Curtis, behave and be well, my friend.
I'll do what I can. I won't do anything you wouldn't do, and that leaves a lot of room.
Oh, man, it's rock and roll. It ain't the Boy Scouts. Thank you so much, Curtis. Behave and be well.
All right, thanks, man. Yeah, you too.
Curtis Don Vito, and the band is SNEW. Absolutely amazing conversation tonight. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camurian. Show is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vito, Amar D. Kovar. Webmaster, Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy, spaceboymusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2018 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Very special thanks to Curtis Don Vito. Until tomorrow night, Billy Carson right here. Everybody be safe. Go back, Lee Teffy.